Did you know there's an approved healthcare choice just for Christians that's founded on the timeless principles in God's Word? It's not insurance. It's MediShare. Over 189,000 believers across America who love God and share each other's healthcare bills. It's about half the cost of health insurance, and you never pay for medical practices that go against your Christian beliefs. Best of all, the healthcare law includes a special provision for MediShare members, so you don't have to buy insurance or face penalties. MediShare is affordable health care without compromise.
Learn how thousands of Christians can help you save on your health care. For your free information guide, call 844-43-BIBLE. Not available in Montana. MediShare, affordable biblical health care. Call 844-43-BIBLE. That's 844-43-BIBLE.
We're here to fix the machine.
Battlefield Live. You're listening to the Battlefield Live with Chris and Trey on WGSO 990 AM in NOLA and the Lanterns Radio Network. Thank you for joining the program. Glad you have chosen to join us today. 2 hours coming up next on the Battlefield Live. Got a great show for you. Chris is still on vacation, so I brought in a guest host. I brought in Philly Pete. Philly Pete, welcome to the program.
Thank you. The audience apparently knows of me. I hear
they have heard of you. We have a lot going on. In fact, right now as we speak, got a couple of guests that'll be coming up here shortly in the program. Tonight we have Pastor Stephen Broden from Fair Park Fellowship Church in Dallas, Texas. You may know Pastor Broden via online. He is a very outspoken pastor, spoken at many Tea Party rallies all over the place. He's been in the documentary Maafa 21, talking about black genocide. He's hosted Robertson Genis, the director and writer of the acclaimed documentary The Principle, dealing with heliocentric versus geocentrism in modern science, and many of the ideas in modern science that just don't hold water. And amongst other things, he ran for Congress. He is, I think, part of Glenn Beck's black-robed regimen. So there's a lot going on there. And in the second hour, we've got our good friend Scott McKay from the Hayride, hayride.com. If you don't follow any particular websites or news sites specifically designed or with a real intent to pay attention to Louisiana politics and the stories going on around the state of Louisiana. It's kind of funny because it's a whole lot easier to find news about the national issues than it really is to find good, credible sources on local politics. So Scott McKay from the Hayride, he also writes for the American Spectator, so we'll have him in the second hour. I want to actually talk to Scott a little bit about the fallout last night from Ted Cruz's speech, specifically what happened at the end. But right now, the RNC convention, of course, is in full swing. Tonight's the big night that everyone has been waiting for and expecting big things. Ivanka is on stage as we speak, giving the introduction. She's I think the final Trump child other than Barron Trump to get up there and address the RNC. And she's doing so tonight as she introduces her father to give a big speech with that. So I don't know if we'll have opportunity to actually get into Donald Trump's speech, but if you have any thoughts during the program and you're listening to both somehow or another, you're able to pay attention to Pete and I here in studio and at the same time watch the speech. If you're able to do that and you have some thoughts on it, the number, as always, is 504-556-9696. Just a quick programming note. Tomorrow night, we're going to have Patrick Hampton as our guest, not in studio, but definitely live on the program. And then we confirmed today that all the way from Los Angeles, California, we've got Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson from Bond. And you probably will that name may not jump out at you, but Jesse Lee Peterson is the one who, the gentleman who said that he is beyond thankful to God that his ancestors were slaves and were brought here as slaves. Otherwise, he wouldn't have the opportunities he has. And people, of course, freaked out about all of that. So all of that and much, much more, your phone calls. We're going to get into a couple of topics. We've got Pete in studio and lots of things to talk about. So first of all, Pete, are you expecting anything in particular? Like, do you need to hear something from Donald Trump tonight? Do you need to see something from Donald Trump tonight? Is there any expectation of him? Do you expect to see a forward talking Donald Trump? Is he gonna? How many times will he mention Hillary tonight? Is there like a drinking game we can play?
I have a sense that that the attack dogs have already slipped and been released out there. You had Newt and Pence and
right.
and Ingram and lots of folks have been hammering on Clinton. I think that they've done their part. I think that Trump is going to attempt to take a more principled or poised kind of approach to things. I don't think. What
leads you to believe that? Like, is there evidence, or
well,
is there an inside source that?
Well, just in general, he's a principled and poised kind of guy.
Oh, right. No, that does make sense now that you put it that way. What do you think about this story? This comes out of the Washington Examiner. We're looking right now that if we compare evangelical support to the previous Republican nominee, we're seeing evangelicals back Trump 8-1 times more than they did for Mitt Romney. Is this to be interpreted that evangelicals are more comfortable?
They figured it out.
Are they completely more comfortable with someone who they're not even sure has beliefs like them than they are about a guy who's a Mormon? Is it as simple as that, or is there more to it, you think?
I think that we're reading too much into this. I think that people who self-identify as evangelicals and then you leave that at that and don't drill down any deeper into their beliefs or how they go about their life or how they choose to influence the folks that are around them, culturally speaking. I think that this is much ado about frustration, angst, and I think people's reasoning has been short-circuited. I think this is superficial, entertaining, but I don't think a whole lot of folks out there are taking a principled approach to this. Maybe they weren't as excited about Romney, and I think that that's a better way to look at it versus evangelicals have figured out who the real Christian is here.
I wonder, because if you look at, and I'm looking at a stat right now in that particular article, white evangelical voters, when they compare Trump to Clinton, they prefer Trump to Clinton on almost every issue. That's not the surprising part. Every major poll right now, and of course Trump is probably getting, because it's the RNC this week, he's probably getting a little bit of a bump in the polls. It's practically a dead heat right now in most national polls. Mm-hmm. But David Plouffe, who, of course, ran both of President Obama's campaigns, I heard an interview with him last night, and he said that in his 2 years that he ran Barack Obama's campaign, he said, one thing that I never did as a campaign manager is look at polls. Now, some of that I thought, really? Surely you looked at some polls, right? But then he went a little bit further because Megyn called him out on Megyn Kelly. Mm-hmm. And he said, here's what I looked at. I looked at the electoral map. What we knew, and he said, and when I look at this right now, regardless of how close, even if Trump goes ahead 4 or 5 points in the polls coming out of the convention, he says, Trump is not going to be able to make up enough votes in, for instance, like Ohio. He said the state of Ohio, Hillary will beat Trump so significantly in places like Cincinnati and Cleveland, and his victories will be in every other county except for maybe Dayton. But he won't have enough votes in the suburbs to make up the difference. And he went through a couple of other states. He goes, the map just doesn't have enough votes there. So I'll get your kind of take on that when we come back, and we'll also be reaching out to Stephen Broden, Pastor Stephen Broden, when we return from the break. 504-556-9696. This is The Battlefield Live on WGSO 990 AM. We'll be right back. Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean, this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com. Playmakers Indoor Sports is a state-of-the-art indoor turf facility offering leagues, drop-in play, field rental, parties, camps, clinics, and a whole bunch more. Play includes adult and youth in soccer, lacrosse, flag football, and more. For more information, go to www.playmakersindoor.com. Like us on Facebook at Playmakers Indoors South. 6124 Jefferson Highway, Harahan, Louisiana, 504-305-6078.
Get ready, Greater New Orleans. The Great Southern Gun and Knife Show is coming for 2 days only, July 23rd and 24th, at the Punch Train Center on Williams Boulevard. Show hours, Saturday 9 to 5, Sunday 10 to 5. Hundreds of dealer tables available, full of guns, knives, ammunition, holsters, gun books, camouflage, jewelry, and more. That's the Great Southern Gun and Knife Show, July 23rd and 24th at the Punch Train Center. Show hours 9 to 5 on Saturday, 10 to 5 on Sunday. Don't miss it.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to ingodwetrust.com and get your hope today.
Welcome back to the program. Trey Roberts, and joining us today is Pete Wypyszinski. Philly Pete sitting in the co-host chair, while my good buddy and co-founder of the Lanterns Radio Network is on vacation, getting some due time. He's been working on fixing the machine for so much that he needed a little bit of downtime over there in Orange Beach. So hopefully he's enjoying that. I know he's going to be frisky when he returns to do the program. I guess about 6 years ago, we had a speaker that we invited into our to come speak at our tea party, the Great New Orleans Tea Party, and I got the opportunity to drive this gentleman around, and I always try to volunteer and do that to get some one-on-one time and really try to pick our guest speakers' brains and try to get out of them some little nuggets of wisdom and whatnot. And this gentleman actually, I guess I wouldn't say admonish, but I guess admonish might be a good word. He said, well, then you ought to get into radio and he said, you ought to run for office. Now, he said mayor. He said, I ought to run for mayor of New Orleans. But I went on ahead and ran for governor instead. So I listened to him. I'm coachable, and that's just the kind of guy I am. So I'm very happy to be joined by Pastor Stephen Broden. Pastor Broden, welcome to the program.
Good to be with you this evening.
Pastor Broden, we are, I know he probably interrupted. You'll have to go back and listen to Trump. He's just giving his talk right now. But I want to put politics a little bit for us aside, because I think we have a similar, number one, we have a similar faith. We have a similar worldview. And I believe we see some of the same solutions to the problems that we face as a society, as a government, as a nation, and a country. And I kind of want to dig into those a little bit with you today, if we could. You've been very active. You've also run for office. You're the senior pastor over at Fair Park Bible Church, Bible Fellowship Church in Dallas. As far as you can diagnose, if you will, can you pinpoint, 1, 2, 3 things that are really ailing America that maybe most Americans are failing to see or to come to face reality with?
That's a very good question. There are a number of things that are impacting our culture that's having an adverse impact on our morality and on our politics and our sociology. And all of them, in my opinion, are sourced in a spiritual reality and to a spiritual condition that is reflective of a desperate need of this nation to turn back to its Judeo-Christian heritage. I would say there are 5 issues that are on the table that have essentially turned, I would say, to the left. And our nation has, at least the Christian, Judeo-Christian influence in the nation has been reduced to a point where these 5 issues have been dissuaded from the influence that we have within the public square. The number one issue, of course, is abortion. Abortion is impacting families. It has reevaluated life out of the Judeo-Christian frame and out of the biblical frame. It's being defined now by those who are on the left and out of the progressive movement to the negation of the divine perspective, resulting in over 55, upwards to 60 million babies have been aborted in America since 1973. The number is staggering when one takes a look at the impact of abortion on the black community. The black population in America represents only about 12% of the population, but we represent about 44% of all abortions. That's a staggering percentage when you look at the fact that the total black population represents itself at about 12%. When you break out the women who are of childbearing age, the number drops even further. And so what we see is a very small percentage of the population in America who happens to be black are aborting more babies than any other people group within America. The second issue is euthanasia. Euthanasia is mercy killing, infanticide. Mercy killing is a part of what we passed in Obamacare. Obamacare put together what we call, at least Sarah Palin and myself, when we were running.
Death
she
panels.
was running for vice president, and I was running for a congressman. We identified the fact that inside Obamacare are death panels, panels of appointed scientists, doctors, and other professionals who sit on a 15-person panel who make decision as to whether a person should get certain kind of medical treatment based upon their viability. The viability, in my estimation, is economic viability. So our grandmother and our great-grandmothers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers go to the back of the line because they are economically unviable. They don't pay taxes anymore, and they're just a drain on the economy. So at the time, I remember Barack Obama said, if you have a problem and you're at a certain age, you need to take an aspirin and go to the back of the line. I don't know if you remember him saying that, but he said that. And inside Obamacare are death panels and euthanasia. Euthanasia is being practiced right now in all the major hospitals across this country, where doctors are making decisions as to whether medical treatment should be utilized on a person in their estimation that does not have a chance for survival. That has been taken out of the hands of the families and out of the hands of their spouses, and is placed now in the hands of doctors and other professionals who are outside of the family, who may be motivated by economic circumstances, which puts our loved ones in jeopardy. Number 3, I would say, is embryonic stem cell research. We have been fighting this issue for a long time, and we had made some significant grounds, covered some significant grounds and successes when we had
under
George
the Bush administration, right?
Right, under George Bush. But the moment that Barack Obama became president of the United States, he reinstituted and reinitiated embryonic stem cell research, which is, and it has to be defined, it is the taking of stem cells from aborted babies to do scientific research. That is shocking in and of itself, but we have had here recently, in recent months, and the expose that God has revealed to us, that Planned Parenthood has been involved in marketing baby parts for profit, selling baby parts for profit. So embryonic stem cell research, scientific research on dead baby parts is happening in America today. The fourth thing is human cloning. And this may come as a shock to some of your listeners, but America is leading the world in scientific research on human cloning. And they successfully, about 2 years ago, cloned a human being in a petri dish. This is absolutely breathtaking when you recognize what they are doing as they are cloning these human beings. They are doing experimentation on DNA. They're cross-fertilizing human DNA with animal DNA and other kinds of DNA. All of this is happening right here in the land of the free, in the home of the brave.
Let me step in right there. We're about a minute away from the break, so I want you to hold on to number 5. And just to simply add that there are techniques known as CRISPR, which is a technique that is so successful that there's had to become a worldwide moratorium on the process, because it's been so successful at being able to cut out specific genes on the human genome and then turn back around and replace it with either something else or allow it to replace itself. That number 4 is one that most people are completely unaware of. But hold on to number 5. We're joined today by the senior pastor at Fair Park Fellowship Church in Dallas, Texas, Pastor Stephen Broden. 504-556-9696. We'll be right back after this quick timeout on the Battlefield Live on WGSO 990 AM.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com. Playmakers.com. Playmakers Indoor Sports offers youth and adult leagues for soccer and flag football, NFL youth flag football, and youth developmental programs. Playmakers Tots program is a youth development program for children ages 18 months to 7 years. Playmakers Tots uses sports like soccer, football, baseball, and basketball to help kids work on motor development, learn to work together, follow directions, and improve listening skills while learning that activity is fun. To register for classes, go to our registration page at playmakersindoor.com or call 504-305-6078. Playmakersindoor.com. 6124 Jefferson Highway in Harahan.
Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean, this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
USA Radio News with Chris Barnes.
Donald Trump has the skills required to lead this nation, a diverse nation, and he can help our people achieve greatness.
That's Republican Representative Marsha Blackburn among another parade of speakers at the Republican National Convention to be literally setting the stage at the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland for the nominee Donald Trump, who will deliver his nomination acceptance speech shortly.
Join me tonight in electing Donald Trump as President of the United States.
But USA Radio learns Trump's planned acceptance speech has already been given, in a way, a copy of it at least, leaked to several media organizations, allegedly by a Republican insider. Roger Ailes has resigned as the head of Fox News Channel, leaving amid allegations of sexual harassment, which he denies. This is USA Radio News.
We all want to live long, healthy lives, and we know that smoking is not a part of making that happen. We all know the dangers, but we also know that it's tough to quit smoking and make it stick. And that's where Nickel Block comes in. It comes in a little bottle, and when you put it on the filter of your cigarette, it blocks the inhalation of tar and nicotine. So you got to check this out. Go to nickelblock.tv and find out more. You can also call 877-835-6060. Now, whether this is your first time quitting or your fifth, Nickel Block is your best chance to stop smoking for good. The taste doesn't change, and neither does your satisfaction. But what does change is your dependence on nicotine. And as you increase the number of Nickel Block drops, you'll gradually decrease your tar and nicotine intake. It's that simple. It's gradual. It's effective. Call 877-835-6060. Stop smoking. Make it for good this time. 877-835-6060 or go to nickelblock.tv.
This is Jeff Cruier with my commentary of the day. After another deadly shooting in Baton Rouge, we've seen far too many of our police officers targeted by radicals and folks that are connected with racist organizations. In Baton Rouge, the killer was Gavin Long, associated with the Nation of Islam. The killer in Dallas was associated with the Black Panther Party. We've seen violence from those associated with Black Lives Matter. Here's the thing. All lives matter. Police officers, Americans of all races. It's time for America to come together to fight crime. And we need political leadership that is going to tell the American people exactly what we are facing. We're facing an attack on unity in this country, an attack on law and order, and we desperately need new leadership that's going to emphasize law and order and emphasize that this is one country. Americans of all races need to come together to promote this great land.
More info on this and the other hot topics of the day, check out ringsidepolitics.com.
Have you heard about AMAC? AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. They're the leading conservative organization in the nation for folks 50 and up. AMAC is a patriotic membership organization dedicated to defending the values that have made America great. Things like smaller government, fiscal responsibility, individual freedom, and family values. But that's not all. An AMAC membership gives you access to exceptional benefits like Medicare supplements and Advantage plans, special low rates on car insurance, roadside assistance, and discounts on hotels, car rentals, and major theme parks, and much more. AMAC reveres the Constitution, and unlike other senior organizations, AMAC lobbied Congress against Obamacare, not for it. People, take it from me and stand with well over 1 million other patriots by joining AMAC today. It's easy. Just visit AMAC's website at www.amac.us. That's www.amac.us. 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 Join AMAC today and tell them Michael Savage sent you.
(504-556-9696). Welcome back to the Battlefield Live on WGSO 990 AM and the Lanterns Radio Network. We are currently joined by the senior pastor at Fair Park Bible Fellowship Church, and outside of, I guess, Pastor Broden, is it Dallas proper, or is it which of the suburbs of DFW is your church located?
We're in Dallas proper. We're right outside of downtown Dallas.
Gotcha.
On the eastern side.
So Pastor Broden, before the break, you were laying out succinctly 5 things that are probably under the radar for most, but affecting all in some way, shape, or form. Pete had a question that he kind of wanted to get you before we get to number 5.
Okay.
Hey, Pastor Broden, I want to tell you, first of all, that these particular topics, especially the abortion, number 1 that you listed, is especially important to me. I'm very familiar with the statistics. As a matter of fact, just looking at it today, where the disproportionate number of abortions are performed on African American women, with African Americans representing only 12% of our populace. And so I understand that. I think it's especially deceptive and tragic that abortion gets framed as an affirmative action type of an issue, and to consider the destruction of unborn life as something that's affirming is pretty awful. But the break gave me a little bit of time to kind of tie all of your first 4 cultural issues together, and I'm beginning to get a sense that what's really happening, or has happened, is this callousness, this sort of searing of our national conscience, and we're ending up in this place where we literally decide who gets to live, who gets to die. In a sense, we are possessing ourselves. Human life is now as material as it's ever been. It's to be traded, it's to be sold, it's to be tampered with, it's to be created in a sense. It doesn't have to be fully human, and so it's like what the Nazis would have loved to have done, but we've got now a greater will to do it and the technology to pull it off. Am I on the right track here with my conclusions?
Absolutely. There has been a redefining of our morality, a redefining of life. There's been a redefinition of who we are as human beings. And there's a whole movement afoot called transhumanism. I'm sure you're aware of that, and what they're attempting to do with reorienting our thinking about our evolution as humankind. Of course, their whole idea is that we are evolving, and that the natural evolution of the human condition is an integration between the mechanical and human DNA. And so they're talking about making us into robots.
Right. The 2045.org is probably the best place to get a real shock to the system, to understand just how prevalent transhumanism and the transhumanist movement is. If it's something that if our listening audience has never heard of that, just go to 2045.org and you will see exactly what Pastor Broden just talked about.
This stuff, although it sounds like we're out on the lunatic fringe talking about this, but the power elite and those who are scientists and the brightest among us are entertaining these ideas and pursuing them behind closed doors. And that's what this whole thing with embryonic stem cell research is all about. It's a part of that whole effort to try to massage our DNA and to take our stem cells and to push us into a new frontier of scientific development and human evolution. And that's what that's about. So, yes, I think you're on to exactly where I'm going with the listing of these 5. And I say it has a spiritual implication. There's spiritual implication here because Satan is in his last effort to try to derail and defocus and to distract us from God's message, which is in the 66 books, 40 different authors, the Holy Bible, that communicates to us God's plan for us and what he intends for our future. Satan is giving a counterfeit, one that's sourced in human ideology, in human philosophy, that's devoid of the divine. And certainly these 5 issues, as I've listed them out, the 4 thus far, and the 5th one being, of course, same-sex marriage and the redefinition of sexuality as a choice in America through the LGBT or homosexual community, who is redefining that, and our culture is embracing that. And all that they are attempting to do has been affirmed by all the major institutions in America that influence us. That's the corporations, academia, that is also business, and that is the church and family. All 5 of those institutions influence us, and all of them, every one of those institutions have embraced the homosexual agenda and is pushing it into the public square and forcing it into the families and into the churches. And unfortunately, the church has capitulated, and where the church goes, oftentimes the family follows close behind. So we're in a moment in our nation that's far more severe and threatening than the media would have us know, or any of us would even recognize as men and women of God who ought to be the salt and light agents of the kingdom of God, representing the purpose of God within the public square. It is our duty, it is our responsibility to speak truth to power and to counter this effort to radically change who we are as a people.
We're joined today by Pastor Stephen Broden out of Dallas, Texas. Pastor Broden, what would you say to someone who just listened to what you laid out in the previous segment and in the current segment and says, well, man, Pastor, that sounds all well and good, but those all seem like social issues, and you can't win in politics with especially those social issues. I mean, what about the budget? What about taxes? What about some of the non-social issues? I mean, these are way too controversial. How would you respond to someone like that?
Well, that would be someone who is, I would say, is short-sighted, who does not or do not understand the political arena. It is not an arena that is exclusive to economic issues. And by the way, what's happening in the sociological arena has a direct impact on our economy and on the finances of our nation. You know, like I do, that abortion has a direct impact on our economy. If the demographics are being reduced in America, we're forced to do some things that will create or keep our economy going. If we're not replacing mom and dad who are getting older and retiring, and we don't have a population coming behind them that has the skill set, the knowledge, and the information to take over those jobs and to keep our economy going, we're in trouble. But that's precisely what has been happening, not only here in America, but in Europe as well. And so it may not be an accident that we're seeing that our borders are wide open now and allowing illegal aliens to come into our nation. It may be because we don't have the population to keep the job and the economy going. So we're bringing these people over to keep our economy going.
Well,
so
and
there are not enough of us to keep the economy going. So there's not a disconnect between the two. They are connected together. There's a nexus between what's happening politically and sociologically. It goes together.
Sure, and that's, Pastor, that certainly is not speculative. We can see those very, that very theory that you laid out happening right now in Europe. There's certainly a decline of the native people, and in order to keep industry and the economy running, they're importing folks from all over the place. Obviously, what's front and center right now is the migration from the Middle East. And obviously that has additional complications with what's going on in the culture.
In the European culture, they are having abortions and having less babies. The Muslims that are coming in, the Middle Easterners coming in, are having 8, 9, and 10 babies. And they're not only taking over the population, but they're taking over their legislators and their political environments and all of that. And so there's a whole different mindset that's coming in, and there's a transformation not only of the politics, but of the culture, because they're not having babies. And so, yes, there is a connection. And I think those who would be short-sighted and limited in their understanding of politics and sociology, a lot of politics and a lot of legislation has to do with sociology.
Pastor Broden, are you planning on moving forward with your Tuesday prayer meeting on Facebook?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. We're up against the break. We had about 30 seconds left, but I just want to thank you for being on the program with us. We'd love to have you back again in the future. And when we come back from the break, we'll send folks, let them know how they can find you on Facebook and Twitter, and be a part of what you're doing on Tuesdays as you lead prayer for the nation. Thank you for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I haven't even begun to tell you some of the things that you need to know.
All right, thank you. We'll be back after this quick timeout on WGSO 990 AM.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com. Playmakers Indoor Sports. TOTS program is one of Playmakers' most popular. Our professionally developed curriculum provides our TOTS with a variety of fun games and exercise in a positive, enjoyable, and exciting environment. These great games help your little one develop their motor skills, create confidence, improve their listening skills, and learn how to follow directions, all while promoting fitness and activity. Our TOTS groups range from 18 months to 7 years. Sign up your little tot today or call 504-305-6078. Playmakersindoor.com.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean, this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming, "In God we trust." In God we trust. It's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to ingodwetrust.com and get your hope today.
Hey folks, this is Jeff Crouere. Join me at 7 a.m. till 11 right here on WGSO 990 a.m. for Ringside Politics with a Punch. We're going to be bringing you great guests. We'll discuss the latest hot topics and, of course, taking your phone calls. On Friday, Ringside All-Star Mitch Gibbs is going to be hosting the program, and yours truly, Jeff Crouere, will be providing reports from Cleveland after the final day of the GOP convention. We'll wrap it up on Ringside. All of that and more right here on Ringside from 7 to 11 on WGSO.
Again, special thanks to Pastor Stephen Broden for being a part of the program. And if you go to Facebook and just type in Stephen Broden, Stephen, Broden, Broden, you can actually like him and follow him on Facebook. Every Tuesday, he's starting to use the Facebook Live application to be able to lead Americans all across the country that have a desire to pray for the nation, to be a part of collective prayer and just lift up the nation and the needs of the nation. And Pete, during the break, you were starting to bring up a point about the replacement, if you will, of native-born people all around the world.
Yeah, and a lot of times we're focusing on Europe, that they're the closest connected to us as far as Western civilization is concerned. But if you look at the stats, and you would certainly be one to agree that there's a difference between liberal Western cultural worldviews and traditional Islamic worldview. And when you simply look at the children per couple, you're down to 1.1, 1.2, perhaps 1.8 even when you look at most European countries, Western European countries. And sociologists have said that you cannot replace a culture if the existing culture is only reproducing itself at a rate of 1.2 to 1.4 children per couple. That's problem isn't exclusive to Europe. You look at countries like Vietnam, they actually have an abortion rate that's 50% of all pregnancies end in abortion.
Wow.
The Italians have more abortions per live births. And so native cultures, quite frankly, are disappearing. Now, there are exceptions to that, and we find that mainly in Eastern Europe, which is extremely nationalized, and that's both good and bad. But there is a sense that they're trying to protect their traditional culture from some of those influences.
Right, and while all that's going on, while all that's happening, you have the Muslims who are staunchly pro-life.
Absolutely.
And they're not considering killing their children at all.
Sure.
And they're pumping 6, 7, 10 out in the course of a decade. You know what I'm saying?
In fact, they're so traditional about marriage that you can be traditionally married to several women.
Yes. Matter of fact, we're going to reach out to Usama Dagdok and introduce the audience to some of his truth about Islam as far as that goes. But there was something I wanted to ask you or tell you or share with you.
Before you move on to ideas, I have a thought. How much of it is really based on desperation as opposed to leniency and leisure, such as, maybe they're having births at a higher rate because they feel like they're desperate, they have to, whereas the people up top, they're more, kind of laissez-faire about it because they're doing so well and they're so, what's the word I'm looking for? Economically sound that they can hold off. They don't have to keep pumping them out because there's no threat that they're going anywhere anytime soon because everything's so comfortable and leisurely.
And which group are we referring to?
Most of the Western civilization you said are the ones that's sort of like declining and multiplying. Maybe it's because they feel like there's no rush.
Gotcha.
Everything's okay.
So that actually
urgency.
Right. No, that actually reminds me of my point. Is that from like 1920 to 1964, the United States shut down its borders. Like we had no immigration. Right. The main purpose for that was because we were having such an influx coming out of the late 1800s, early 1900s of immigration to the United States that the culture of America was changing into something that it never was. So they shut everything down so that you could begin to see them assimilate into and become Americans. Okay. What happened in 65 was that the Democrats passed legislation under Lyndon Johnson that opened up once again the borders for the purpose of getting more Democrat voters. Republicans today now also support kind of an open border policy because they've bought into cheap labor. So you've got Democrats who want open borders and an influx of immigration into the country to build their unbeatable base, if you will, because where are they going to go? They're not going to go into the suburbs. They're not going to go into the country land. They're going to go continue to populate cities and metropolitan areas and get stacked on top of people and on top of people, plus get on the dole. So you have that going on, while at the same time, Republicans not even willing to step up and try to shut it down, make it safe. That's what makes him so controversial at the moment, is he's actually talking about trying to stop the flow.
By him, he's talking about Donald Trump. We're looking at Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah, my bad. But pointing at Donald Trump. So the Republicans are now for the profits, promising the Republican Party, hey, you keep letting our profits go up by not shutting down the border, we'll come with the big donations. Democrats are like, yeah, we're good with that because the majority of them are going to vote Democrat anyway, so it won't matter.
Well, but Chris does bring up an interesting point, and perhaps folks aren't necessarily looking at it from the socioeconomic standpoint, but he was pointing out that Western culture, maybe they've just said, hey, it's not a big a deal. I mean, we don't need to. We can wait. And I think what Pastor Broden was saying in the prior segment is you have sort of all of these influences which have led to a mindset where marriage isn't as important, family isn't as important. We don't even really need to define gender in any specific way.
Right.
Children aren't important. You don't even ever have to get married if you get married at all. And if you do get married, you don't have to have kids. You don't have to reproduce yourself. And what do we always hear? Couples say, I have my one boy and I have my one girl.
And I'm good.
It's the perfect family. Right. So I think that there's a lot of things, whether it's economics, whether it's a cultural mindset, whether it's this degradation of the value of life and of traditional marriage. But regardless of what the influences are that have caused those statistics to become the case, ultimately it's destructive and has negative consequences.
And you also have to go historically, because when you look at Planned Parenthood and you understand what Planned Parenthood was started for, right? It was created to eliminate a certain group of people within the American populace. And primarily it was what their words were: Negroes, morons, idiots, and, basically the mentally retarded.
They were called weeds of society, but there were three primary groups that they were after. It was Negroes, as they said, Jews, and Italians, for the record.
Yeah, so, when you have a group of people, and look, and this legacy has continued. It starts off with Darwinian evolutionary theory on the origin of species by means of natural selection by means of natural selection, or through the struggle for the preservation of favored races. So you have Darwin's theory that comes out, which, by the way, is still taught to all of our public school kids. And then his cousin, Francis Galton, comes out, who then becomes the father of modern eugenics, which is just basically the humanly guided aspect of what they believe to be natural evolution. That was picked up by Margaret Sanger, who starts the American Birth Control Society, which then gets picked up and changed to Planned Parenthood. And then, remember, before there was a pro-life movement, you had the Black Panthers and people like Jesse Jackson who said that abortion in America was black genocide. I know some of you need to pick your jaws off the floor, but when people like Jesse Jackson and many people within the Democrat Party realized that Planned Parenthood would pump millions of dollars into their political coffers and their political aspirations became more important than the sanctity of life and the very people that they claimed to be stepping up for, they threw black genocide out the way and embraced it wholeheartedly, much to the demise of black people. And like Stephen Broden talked about the stat he gave. You take the pick, 55 and 60 million babies since 1972. And the crazy thing is the stats were, at the time that abortion on demand was legalized in America by the Supreme Court, that black women on a whole didn't abort their children. And the numbers, when it became legal, the numbers shifted. And we see today that, like in cities like New York, you have a 75% abortion rate in the city of New York. So we'll pick up some more of that, and coming up in the next segment of the show, we're going to reach out to Scott McKay from American Spectator and thehayride.com. Stick around for that. Pete Wypyszinski sitting in for Chris and Trey on the Battlefield Live. We'll be back after this quick timeout.
Years ago, Dinesh D'Souza's film 2016 blew the whistle on Obama. It infuriated the Obama people, who found an excuse to lock Dinesh up overnight for 8 months in a federal confinement center. Dinesh used this experience to learn about how criminals operate and applied that knowledge to his latest film, Hillary's America, The Secret History of the Democratic Party. This isn't just another anti-Hillary movie, because it's not just about Hillary. It is an historic look at the Democratic Party, delving deep into their traditions and blowing the lid off the hypocrisy hypocrisy of their origin. You know the Democrats say that they're the party of racial justice, social justice, the middle class, and the ordinary guy. But Hillary's America will destroy these lies. Hillary's America tells the story of Hillary Clinton's corrupt nature and the corrupt nature of her party. Everyone needs to see this movie before they vote. Hillary's America opens in theaters on July 22nd. To purchase tickets, go to Hillary'sAmericaTheMovie.com. Rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13. Hillary'sAmericaTheMovie.com.
This advertisement does not constitute an offer to sell a franchise. The offer of a franchise can only be made through the delivery of a franchise disclosure document.
Fresh Healthy Vending is a new company that is revolutionizing the vending machine business by filling them with healthy and natural foods. That's right. Protein and energy drinks, teas and juices, yogurts, fresh fruits and veggies, soy milk, natural cereals, granola bars. Can you imagine that? It's like having a whole food store in a machine. And you can get in on the ground floor by getting your own Fresh Healthy Vending franchise. You can have your own small business placing healthy food vending machines all over your area in places like schools and hospitals and businesses and airports and other high traffic areas. Locations that embrace the idea because, you know, they make money too. Full training and support and assistance in acquiring locations. It's all about timing, folks. Pick up the phone, make the call to Fresh Healthy Vending, and get all the details on what could be your big life moment. Get Fresh Healthy Vending franchise information now. Call 800-424-8282. 424-8282. That's 800-424-8282.
Your station for prep sports year-round. We are WGSO 990 AM New Orleans.
USA Radio News with Chris Barnes.
When Donald Trump is in charge, all that counts is ability, effort, and excellence.
Donald Trump's oldest daughter, Ivanka, sings her father's praises on the final night of the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, and she concludes her remarks by introducing her father, who tells the boisterous crowd at Quicken Loans Arena,
I humbly and gratefully accept your nomination for the presidency of the United States.
Meanwhile, USA Radio News learns that the text of Trump's acceptance speech was leaked early to some news organizations, allegedly by a Republican insider. No longer rumor, Roger Ailes resigns as the head of Fox News amid sexual harassment allegations that he continues to deny. Wall Street closing lower on the day. This is USA Radio News.
Hello, I'm Aaron, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on why Americans should study the presidency.
People should study the American presidency because it's one of the three branches of government, and it's the part that acts. And so when the government gets ready to do something to us or to our allies or enemies in the world, it's the executive branch that does it. And there's some reason to fear it these days. It's an awesome power. But in addition, there's a series of constraints on it. One of them is there's an amount of time he's got, and then he's got to go back to the people. Another is he has to do things that are lawful, and he doesn't get to make the laws. And so a constitutional executive is a very powerful thing, operating under the constraints and for the purposes of the Constitution of the United States.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To receive a free pocket Constitution and Declaration, go to constitutionminute.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, every day men and women across this beautiful country are seeing something they never thought possible. They're seeing bags and puffiness under their eyes. Just go away. Disappear. That's right. Like you, Kathy from Dearborn, Michigan, probably thought nothing would work for her. Then she tried Genucel, and she wrote the following. Genucel is a great product. I don't have bags, but I had an odd puff under one eye. It is now totally gone, thanks to the Genucel. At first, it would come and go. After 2 weeks, it did not return. I am very happy. No, it's not just Kathy. I use Genucel. You too can get rid of these bags and puffiness, and with the Genucel immediate effects, you'll lose years off your appearance in just 12 hours. Genucel will work for you or your money back. That's guaranteed. Call 800-SKIN-891. 800-SKIN-891. But it gets better. Order now, and Chamonix will include the Platinum Dark Circle treatment absolutely free. Order now and priority shipping is also free. You don't wait. Call 800-SKIN-891. That's 800-SKIN-891. 800-SKIN-891. Dr. Michael Savage here from The Michael Savage Show. Many people don't know this, but I was formerly director of nutrition for one of the largest health food chains in the nation. And I got to tell you, Super Beets is one of the most impressive, natural, functional foods I've ever seen in my career. Why? Blood flow, blood flow, blood flow. Beets are loaded with dietary nitrates, which convert to nitric oxide in the body. Nitric oxide helps support healthy circulation and healthy blood pressure levels. Call 800-481-0504. That's 800-481-0504 or go to SavageLovesBeets.com. That's SavageLovesBeets.com. You're going to get a 30-day supply for free. It comes with your first order. It's backed by a money-back guarantee. You're also going to get a free book, Beat the Odds, and free shipping on your entire order. You can't beat that. You'll love the results you feel with your first free canister guaranteed or your money back. 800-481-0504 or go to SavageLovesBeets.com.
We're here to fix the machine.
Battlefield Live.
You're listening to the Battlefield Live with Chris and Trey on WGSO 990 AM and the Lanterns Radio Network. Hour 2 underway, and I feel pretty guilty. I've got my buddy Pete Wypyszinski in studio with us. Chris is on vacation today, and so Pete's up here playing radio with us on this wonderful Thursday evening here in New Orleans. And I kind of feel guilty, Pete, that I know Scott was probably glued to the TV, and Scott, welcome to the Scott McKay is our guest. Let me just say that Scott is a writer for the American Spectator, and he's the founder of thehayride.com. And if you are not following Scott McKay on Facebook, just for the sheer hilarity and just punditry that you get from his page, you've got to follow him. Scott, welcome to the program.
Hey, how you doing?
So have you been listening to the Trump speech?
I've got it on. The transcript of it leaked earlier today, so I had already read it.
Did he endorse himself?
Oh yes, indeed, in the most certain terms, repeatedly.
So I haven't seen it yet. So if I go back, I should not expect to hear Trump admonish the Republican National Convention to vote their conscience up and down the ticket. I should not expect that.
Oh, he already knows the conscience of that hall. I mean, he owns the conscience of that hall.
So wait, I saw that 14 minutes ago you just posted the Bernie Sanders line fell flat in the hall. What exactly was the Bernie Sanders line?
Well, he was talking about how, the system is rigged and Hillary benefits from a rigged system, and that, the Democrats rigged their system and poor Bernie Sanders didn't have a chance. They've got these people in the building cheering all kinds of things that Republicans should never cheer for.
Can you give us just one example?
Get them to go that far as to have sympathy for Bernie Sanders.
That is amazing. What would be
I mean, the speaker before Donald was Ivanka,
right?
And she had everybody in the hall cheering equal pay and free child care and giving student loan breaks for college kids. I'm telling you, and they were cheering like it was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
So we are witnessing the Republican nominee, no longer presumptive. We are seeing the Republican nominee for president of the United States parrot positions from the openly Democratic socialist candidate who ran for the Democratic nomination.
Well, and the overtones of this are striking. I mean, one of the other things, and look, everybody is talking about how awesome Ivanka's speech was, okay? And she does this entire thing about how her father is going to bring in people from, from top men from all walks of life to be the best advisors, and I'm sitting there thinking, this is FDR's brain trust all over again.
Right.
They recycled, FDR ideas from the 1930s, and everybody in the hall is just eating it up, and I'm like, well, I guess we don't have a lot of history majors among the delegates.
I was getting ready to say, Pete and I on the way in discussed this, and we're like, are we Seinfeld's bubble boys? I mean, like, no one around us can remember, like, nobody knows this stuff. Like, the people that are around me on a regular basis, I feel like I live in an entirely different world because I pay attention and try to learn about the history of things and how things are supposed to be, and just simple things like what doesn't work, historically speaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, in the entire text of this, I don't think the word Constitution comes up once in Trump's speech. The word freedom does not come up once, although the word free does once at the end. I don't think the word liberty makes it. I didn't see it anywhere in the speech. And this is a 4,400 word text of a speech, that a Republican nominee is giving. And I mean, there is no, no attention or no, homage paid to any of the core principles. He doesn't say the word limited government. I mean, none of it.
I want to play just, if I could, real quick.
Law and order. I mean, it's basically, he's going to do something about all the police shootings and all this kind of stuff. And to me, the guy who runs as a law and order candidate is running for mayor. He's running for sheriff. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not running for president. I mean, that almost sounds like Obama. Not that Obama's a particularly law and order guy, but if you're running for president and you're talking about law and order, that means, that you're going to federalize the police some sort of way? I mean, that's what Obama's trying to do.
Are you not going to appoint an attorney general and do that job as well?
Well, I mean, but he doesn't, like, I would have thought if you're going to focus on that and you're going to speak about that, then, your focus is going to be that, Hillary's talking about keeping Loretta Lynch on as Attorney General. And obviously you make the snide comment of, I know why, too, right? Like,
yeah,
this just keeps Hillary from getting prosecuted.
Something about grandchildren.
You talk about how lawless and corrupt that Loretta Lynch is, and how, the federal gun prosecutions are down 40% during the Obama administration, right? You talk about things like that, I'm not going to change any laws at all. We don't have to do that. We just got to run the country better. That would have been a good way to talk about the law and order thing, because people might have actually learned something. Instead, he recites a whole bunch of statistics on crime, which are perfectly good, and then he just brags about how he's the law and order guy. It's there. I'm not going to say there aren't some good things in this speech. There are, but there's a whole lot of boob bait in it. There's a whole lot of stuff that's just aimed at Joe Sixpack, who has no idea what's going on, and it's here's the reality TV guy that I've been watching, and he's running for president, and then this cool.
Yeah, but it's Scott, Pete here. I appreciate everything you're saying, but there's only a limited amount of resources in order to pull this thing off for Trump, and he's not gonna hold workshops in order to elevate the consciousness of the low information voter. I'm
not asking for that though. I mean, what I'm saying is you say the reason that we're having all this trouble in Chicago and all these other places is because they're letting criminals go free rather than prosecute them for federal gun crimes, and they're shooting people. Meanwhile, Obama's talking about gun control, right? You give that speech. You're not a policy wonk giving that speech. You're making a quick explanation that everybody can understand that the other side then has to turn around and defend against, and they don't really have a good defense. When you say, you know what, these guys have knocked federal gun crime prosecutions down 40%, and then they're talking about taking your gun away, I don't know how Hillary Clinton responds to that. I have no idea. That's like an absolute silver bullet you could shoot. he's not shooting it.
At this point, do you think he's
missed opportunities everywhere?
Well, absolutely. And do you think it's a product, Scott, of like the Trumpkins like to oftentimes remind us, he's not a politician. He's a businessman. So, like, is this a product of his lack of political bona fides, or is this just pure ineptness on the part of the Trump campaign?
Well, I think it's probably a little bit of both, but I would focus on the latter. This campaign it's not good. This business with Melania's speech where she's cribbing from Michelle Obama, and they let that be a story for the entire convention until Ted Cruz came along and talked about freedom and the Constitution and got booed for it. Okay?
Right.
Ted Cruz saved them from having Melania's plagiarism be the entire story. And it comes out, they get somebody to take the fall for it, and it's this woman that, doesn't work for the campaign. She works for the Trump organization. So now you have a federal campaign law violation. It turns out the woman is a registered Democrat who's writing speeches and takes it from Michelle Obama. And it's like one, disaster after another. I've got a running joke with the people on my Facebook feed that the only way you could describe a lot of this stuff or explain it is this, crazy theory that has been put out there in certain circles that what Donald Trump actually is a Democrat plant sent to destroy the Republican Party, which is completely nuts. And it
hold that thought, Scott. Hold that thought. We're up against the break. We'll finish that when we come right back. WGSO 990 AM.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com. Join us at Playmakers Indoor South every summer and holiday for our multi-sport camps. $25 a day, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. with before care from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and after care from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. available for $5. Soccer, flag football, basketball, wiffle ball, relay games, lacrosse, and much, much more. Plenty of spots available. Contact Playmakers Indoor Sports, 6124 Jefferson Highway in Harahan, or call 504-305-6078 or sign up today at playmakersindoor.com.
Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean, this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
What are you doing to stop traffic when your business is ready to wow the pants off customers? Visit Sir Speedy. We produce quality signs, posters, banners, and more that are just the trick for trade shows, promotions, events, and product launches. Whether you're taking it to the street, the floor, or the counter, bigger is always better. For more information or to get a quote, go to SirSpeedyNewOrleans.com.
Millions of people are asking the question, what has happened to America? Is there hope? What will our children and grandchildren face in years to come? America, there is hope. The same hope expressed by the colonists in 1607 when they placed a cross on the Virginia shore, proclaiming In God We Trust. In God We Trust, it's still our hope. It's our future. It's our national motto. Go to InGodWeTrust.com and get your hope today.
Welcome back to the program, 504-556-9696. We'll take your questions in the next segment. We're joined right now by Scott McKay, writer at the American Spectator and the founder of the Hayride.com. Check it out for all of your political goings-on, especially if you need a good source for what happens here in Louisiana. It's always tough to find good sources for Louisiana politics because, ironically, Louisiana politics is a little bit of a stranger bird than even the national politics. So, Scott, welcome back to the program.
Yeah, I'd say that's changing.
Yeah.
I mean, ours might be slightly more depressing than the national version, but I don't know if national politics is less strange than our variety at this point.
No, this is absolutely true. So what is your take on last night? I heard some reports, and you're definitely more plugged in than I. So, did the Trump people, did they organize the booing? Was that set up that if they heard the word conscience, it was a trigger word that they would begin booing? And what do you think about Trump walking out? Is that a precedent? Has that never been done before? I mean, was that an intentional dig to Ted Cruz?
I don't know if there was a specific trigger. But if you watched it on C-SPAN, what you could absolutely see was that the booing was led and begun by the New York delegation. And
front and center, right?
They were front and center, and they started a chant about 2/3 of the way through Cruz's speech, yelling for him to endorse Trump. And when he didn't do it, that was when they led everybody in the hall to boo. And there have been reports that Trump's campaign people were whipping delegates to boo during the speech. And the thing of it is this: it's beyond question at this point that the Trump campaign got a text of the speech and did not object to it. The RNC got a text of the speech and did not object to it. Cruz had told Trump
3 days ago
all along that he was not going to endorse it. So there is definitely the potential, at least, that this thing was a sandbag job, that where they did this to make Cruz look like the bad guy. And there's like a certain reality TV aspect to this. Like every successful reality TV show has this villain that you want to see voted off the island or whatever, and I guess they decided it was going to be Ted Cruz. And the thing of it is, if you read the text of Cruz's speech, there wasn't a single negative thing in there about Trump, right?
It's a phenomenal speech if you haven't read it.
Yeah, I mean, it was, he's talking about freedom in the Constitution, and he gets booed for it. I mean, it's just, it was a strange thing.
Scott, but Cruz is smart enough to know that there was potential for this happening. He certainly made a conscious decision on what to put in that speech, and that if he didn't have a very overt endorsement of Trump, that this could lead to trouble, and not just for that evening, but maybe down the road. So why did he do it?
I think that's right. I think there's two things about Cruz. Number one, Ted Cruz has no problem, being the guy that gets beat up on for standing on principle. I think he kind of gets off on that. So, like if you were going to try to buffalo him a certain way, you got the wrong guy, right? I mean, he's a guy that's perfectly happy, having what he perceives as the wrong people hating. And then the second thing is that I think Cruz may be playing something of a long game here, which is that, he obviously thinks that Trump is going to crash and burn in November, and all of these people that got on board the Trump train are going to crash and burn to a certain extent with him. So he may be taking an enormous amount of, heat for last night now, but, if Trump gets murdered in November, then, Cruz is the one guy standing that still has some, dignity and principles left.
So speaking of murder in November, are you still squarely of the opinion that regardless of how this speech ends, because he's still talking,
if it ends.
Yeah, if it ends, does he have a chance in the general?
I think, you could have a terrorist attack, or you could have an economic collapse. You could have some, game-changing thing that happens between now and November. But, absent that, I would think that he is going to really, really struggle to get anywhere. I don't think this convention is going to give him much of a bounce. And they've been touting the Rasmussen poll all along as the one that was really showing that Trump had a lot of life in him against Hillary, because last week he was up 7 in that poll. Well, it came out today. He's up 1 now, so he's lost 6 points in a week. And the poll was taken Monday night and Tuesday night, so the first 2 nights of the convention. And I don't know if that's noise or what, but a 6-point movement in a week is not good. So we'll see. I mean, at this point, I think he's got major problems with the Electoral College. Anybody else at this point would be beating Hillary by 15. I mean, she had the FBI director, who didn't have enough courage to actually recommend that she be indicted. But, I mean, there's never been a presidential candidate be eviscerated by law enforcement while they're running for president. And
it's not over yet. There's still other investigations.
There are, but none of that's going to get, brought to a head until after the election. So I think she's probably survived some of her worst stuff. And meanwhile, you still have Trump University out there, which is a very problematic. You've got the issue with the tax returns, which could really be a bomb in the closet. And then you have this Katie Johnson woman who is, claiming that Trump raped her.
He raped her when she was 14. Yeah.
Yeah, and my theory is that by November 1st, she's going to be the most famous woman in America.
Jeez.
Because that's like the perfect October surprise.
Right.
And these things are still out there, right? And, Trump's campaign has ridden largely on the strength of over $2 billion worth of free media.
Right.
Which, I think can very easily be seen as, the mainstream media pumping him up to get the nomination because he's the candidate that the Democrats wanted.
We're coming up on the break. Give me some insight into, obviously John Bel Edwards has not had an easy beginning to his term, but who do we have in the Louisiana GOP that could potentially step up and be a viable challenger to JBE come re-election time?
Well, the guy who's probably doing the most work, groundwork for that is probably Jeff Landry.
Oh, I love him right now.
Landry jumped in and took over the management of Louisiana Committee for a Republican Majority, which, previously when David Vitter had it was a powerhouse in state legislative elections. And when LCRM went away because Vitter was running for governor last year, I mean, there was an effect in terms of, the conservative quality of the people that got elected to the legislature. So Landry getting back in on that, can use it as a power base. And I think that, whoever gets in front of the curve for 2019 as the gubernatorial candidate, I think may have a much, cleaner road, because there's a very large sentiment within the party that, we're not going to have one of these three-way contested primaries where we beat each other up and give the Democrat a free road to the runoff. So if Landry looks like the guy, I think they may very well do what they can to clear the field and make it a heads-up battle between him and Edwards.
Scott, it's always great to talk to you, brother. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll have you on again down the road. Thank you, man.
Okay, talk to you later, guys.
504-556-9696. We've got a lot that you can chime in on, and if you can pull you away from the television screen, give us a call. Battlefield Live, Chris and Trey with Pete Wypyszinski in the house on WGSO 990 AM.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com. Playmakers Indoor Sports is a state-of-the-art indoor turf facility offering leagues, drop-in play, field rental, parties, camps, clinics, and a whole bunch more. Play includes adult and youth in soccer, lacrosse, flag football, and more. For more information, go to www.playmakersindoor.com. Like us on Facebook at Playmakers Indoors South. 6124 Jefferson Highway, Harahan, Louisiana, 504-305-6078.
Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean,
like
this is totally fascinating.
Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show. Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
USA Radio News with Chris Barnes.
When Donald Trump is in charge, all that counts is ability, effort, and excellence.
Donald Trump's oldest daughter, Ivanka, sings her father's praises on the final night of the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, and she concludes her remarks by introducing her father, who tells the boisterous crowd at Quicken Loans Arena,
I humbly and gratefully accept your nomination for the presidency of the United States.
Meanwhile, USA Radio News learns that the text of Trump's acceptance speech was leaked early to some news organizations, allegedly by a Republican insider. No longer rumor, Roger Ailes resigns as the head of Fox News amid sexual harassment allegations that he continues to deny. Wall Street closing lower on the day. This is USA Radio News.
Hello, friend. It's Angie Austin here. All right. In the summertime, let's be honest, our hair gets damaged. There's the chlorine. There's the sun. My kids are swimmers, and so their hair can get to be green and broken and pretty messy looking. But this year, they're actually using my Ovation hair products. And they've got all kinds of different products for different types of hair and different styling products. And good news for you, you can protect your hair, and you've got 100% money-back guarantee, risk-free. Go to ovationhair.com, and also this week, free shipping. Get free shipping on everything for a limited time. And check Angie Austin Daybreak USA when you check out, and you'll get an additional new customer discount. So you can't beat that. Take care of your hair this summer. I've been using these products for over a year. My hair has never been thicker, longer, or fuller. I love Ovation hair products, or I wouldn't endorse them. They're wonderful. Go to ovationhair.com, check Angie Austin Daybreak USA, and get an additional discount, free shipping as well. Ovationhair.com, ovationhair.com.
This is Jeff Cruier with my commentary of the day. After another deadly shooting in Baton Rouge, we've seen far too many of our police officers targeted by radicals and folks that are connected with racist organizations. In Baton Rouge, the killer was Gavin Long, associated with the Nation of Islam. The killer in Dallas was associated with the Black Panther Party. We've seen violence from those associated with Black Lives Matter. Here's the thing. All lives matter. Police officers, Americans of all races. It's time time for America to come together to fight crime, and we need political leadership that's going to tell the American people exactly what we are facing. We're facing an attack on unity in this country, an attack on law and order, and we desperately need new leadership that's going to emphasize law and order and emphasize that this is one country. Americans of all races need to come together to promote this great land.
More info on this and the other hot topics of the day, check out ringsidepolitics.com.
Michael Savage here. Look, I don't like taking pills for minor arthritis pain, and I don't like those patches either. But I found something that works. Australian Dream Arthritis Pain Relief Cream. It's real medicine that has no odor, and it works. And listen to this. Australian Dream has an empty jar guarantee. You use the whole jar, you're not happy, you get your money back. But I doubt you'll send it back. This stuff really works. Get guaranteed arthritis relief. Find Australian Dream in the little red box at Walmart or wherever you shop.
Want to know who's going to make Cleveland rock? It ain't Hendrix or Clapton. It's this guy.
We're going to win. Oh, are we going to win?
Donald Trump accepts his party's nomination tonight at the Republican National Convention.
There's something happening. There's a movement going on.
One of the most anticipated political events of all time is here, and it's coming to CNN for one more huge night with access you can't get anywhere else.
We start with breaking news.
Republican National Convention. Final night coverage starts today, 4 Eastern on CNN.
Welcome back to the program, Battlefield Live, WGSO 990 AM. Chris and Trey. Chris on vacation. Trey in studio. Guest host Pete Wypyszinski on the board, spinning the ones and twos, Mr. Chris Coleman. Can I say your name on here? Okay. Chris Coleman, ladies and gentlemen. Do us a favor, or do me a favor at least. Go to Lanterns Buzz and follow us on Twitter at Lanterns Buzz. You can follow Chris at Paul Revere again, and you can follow me at T-Rob Radio. You can check out our YouTube channel. We're on Spreaker. If you just go to Spreaker and type in the Battlefield, you can check out our website, battlefield.buzz. We're on Google+. And, of course, we're always on the on your favorite podcasting app or software. You can check us out on SoundCloud. You can check us out on Stitcher, iTunes, what else? Google Play, Player FM. So many different places that you can follow us. And also do us a favor, if you want to beat the heat, if there's anything that you enjoy playing, say football or soccer or lacrosse, or you're just looking for something different to do that's more indoors, but you're 18-month-old, you want to start working on eye-hand coordination and any kind of mobility. Playmakersindoor.com is the place to go. The guys over in Harahan, check out playmakersindoor.com and follow them on Facebook, Playmakers Indoor South. They have a great what they call their TOTS program. They start as early as 18 months and go all the way up to 7 years old, and their breakdown of different skill sets and team building exercises and taking instructions and following through and just a lot of different things that they offer. If you have a birthday party you want to celebrate, there's adult leagues for all the different sports. This is a great place. Check out their website, playmakersindoor.com, and see if you can be a part of what they're doing over there. And they have a great indoor facility. It's the only indoor turf facility that accommodates all three of the sports that I mentioned just a few seconds ago. So check it out. And, of course, you can always find all of this information and much, much more at lanterns.buzz. Thanks again to Scott McKay for joining us from the hayride.com. And it looks like has Mr. Trump finally, I see balloons dropping.
Both families on stage.
Okay.
Pence.
Oh, Pence
and
okay.
Trump.
I was about to say, I thought you were saying Trump has another family. That would be incorrect. I want to play this quick highlight. This is just a quick snip from, looks like from Scott posted, so we'll just play it real quick here. Here we go.
When it comes to great steaks, I've just raised the stakes. The Sharper Image is one of my favorite stores.
Wait a minute.
Fantastic products of all kinds. That's why I'm thrilled they agree with me. Trump steaks are the world's greatest steaks, and I mean that in every sense of the word.
I'm not sure.
And the Sharper Image is the only store where you can buy them.
I don't think that was actually... Yeah. I don't think that was Trump's. He used the RNC platform for Trump steaks?
Well, the thing that I've actually heard that before. I've heard him endorsing steaks. And the thing that is very strange to me about that is that the Sharper Image agrees with him about his steaks.
So the Sharper Image, I'm not sure is that store still around, because isn't that the place where you like sit in a chair and get massaged? Like
That's one of them.
And the chair's like $2,700.
It's one of those types of places. But yeah, you get lots of cool gadgets. The Sharper Image is still around.
Okay.
But maybe
air
I'm wrong.
filtration
maybe
systems.
I'm wrong. Yeah.
I don't remember their butcher department. Like
they've got allergy solutions and high-tech grilling. So maybe that's where it comes in.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, tomorrow on the program is Patrick Hampton, and Patrick just posted, you'll enjoy him tomorrow. Patrick just posted, congratulations to Hillary Rodham Clinton. The GOP just handed you the election by nominating your donor. Excellent plan, excellent execution. Sad day, but in America, but Jesus is still Lord. That's Patrick Hampton, the founder of the All Lives Matter Foundation, and interestingly, the founder of the Boycott Beyonce movement right after the Super Bowl. He had like almost a million followers in that Facebook group after the Super Bowl.
I was there
within a couple of days.
I was there. I was
at the Super Bowl.
I was within
with Beyonce.
I could have reached out and touched her, but I followed.
Was that close to
I was escorting Boomer Esiason around the stadium that night. I had other duties that I needed to attend to.
You know, Boomer has a son named Gunner.
Yep.
Gunner has CF.
Does he?
Boomer is like a huge like fundraiser.
Yes.
And making awareness for the CF Foundation.
And he's very grateful for the life that he's lived, and this is very important to him.
So anyway, all right, let's see where are we going to go? Should we I'm kind of out, you know what I'm saying? We got a couple minutes left on this segment, and then another one. I got a bunch of stories here, but they kind of really don't flow. I mean, we could give you like a Religion of Peace update. In the last week, there's been 41 attacks.
That's
364 killed, 6 suicide blasts in 13 countries. If you go back to the month of June, which was Ramadan, you had 238 attacks, 2,055 killed, 2,006 injured in 43 Allah Akbars. And if you're keeping score at home, an Allah Akbar is a suicide blast in 33 different countries. I mean, that is your Religion of Peace.
We talk about the 24-hour news cycle, but with the Religion of Peace, it's the 2.4 news cycle, seconds, that is, before you've got another update from them. That's them.
Yeah, I think that's the guys, right? The Religion of Peace report brought to you by. This was actually a sad story. I don't know if you saw this or not. You know, the guy drove his truck, you know, through 88 people in Nice, France. But that kind of overshadowed a really horrifying story of the honor killing of Kandil Baloch by her brother. She's a celebrity in Pakistan, and she bravely defied the patriarchy and clerics, and she ended up being murdered as an honor killing by her brother.
And in Pakistan alone, in 2015, there were somewhere a little bit north of 1,100 of those types of killings.
Of honor killings?
Of honor killings. Wow. You don't hear that, though. We hear about plagiarism, but we don't hear about honor killings.
Yeah, she did. There is no substantiated report that she plagiarized a book report or anything, that her brother felt necessary to step up and make the situation right. What about this? Is this this stuff for us? You brought in a clip for us.
Well, as you know, I'm trying very hard.
But ladies and gentlemen, let me explain to you real quick. If you're looking at us on Facebook right now, come in a little closer here. I don't think Pete maybe grasped the concept that we were going to be on radio today. Now here it is, almost 11 o'clock at night. Pete came in today. He's wearing his his red power Republican tie. He's still in full slacks and wingtips with the Argyle socks that don't have any color or pattern resembling anything he's wearing. But he also has on a lanyard that reads Delegate 3 from an RLC convention that he attended apparently in 2014. So he is in full convention regalia.
Hey, he is a great American.
Well, and for the record, folks, I really wasn't doing this for you. Although I would be happy to do all kinds of things for you.
I appreciate that.
I was doing this for Trey.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. You were looking at me.
I was talking when I said folks. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so, I was doing it for you, Trey. I know that you're desperately seeking to find some substance that you can hang on to when it comes to the Trump campaign. I, as well, am doing so. And so I found that if I can't agree with him on the substance, that I could at least attempt to look like him.
Well, I'm just glad that you didn't kill any wild or stray animal and then attempt to apply it on top of your head.
I haven't been able to get the onion loaf right as far as hairdos go, and I am still working on the tannins for my skin.
Well, if folks are not familiar with the current ticket of the Republican Party, there is if you don't like the Trump-Pence ticket, you can always just simply refer to them as the Tannen Bannon ticket.
That's right.
That being, of course, of the Back to the Future 3 old rich Biff.
And Johnny Quest.
Race Bannon. Just check that out on lanterns.buzz on Twitter, and you'll get a little bit of a laugh. All right. Final break coming up before we come back from the final segment. You brought a clip in.
I did.
So we come back. I'll let you set up this clip. You did some research on Donald Trump.
That's right.
And so we'll play that clip for you and more. So stick around with us. Last segment coming up. This is the Battlefield Live on WGSO 990 AM and the Lanterns Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Experience Augie's, formerly Augie's Glass Garden, now in Harahan. Augie's, truly a gorgeous place. Where can you go to experience super jumbo soft-shell crabs for only $14.95 and the area's largest seafood platters? Private parties, receptions, reunions, and events of all types can be handled at Augie's. 6005 Jefferson Highway in Harahan. Call for reservations 733-3000. Check us out on the web, augiesnola.com.
Playmakers Indoor Sports offers youth and adult leagues for soccer and flag football, NFL youth flag football, and youth developmental programs. Playmakers Tots program is a youth development program for children ages 18 months to 7 years. Playmakers Tots uses sports like soccer, football, baseball, and basketball to help kids work on motor development, learn to work together, follow directions, and improve listening skills while learning that activity is fun. To register for classes, go to our registration page at playmakersindoor.com or call 504-305-6078. Playmakersindoor.com. 6124 Jefferson Highway in Harahan.
Did you ever think that the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States would have similar policy and, suggestions as the Democratic Socialist candidate?
I never thought that a Republican candidate for president would hold both liberal and conservative policies at the same time.
Right.
I mean, this is totally fascinating. Visit the website battlefield.buzz for the latest from Chris and Trey from the Battlefield Live radio show.
Are you looking for a reasonable and affordable way to enhance your image or your company's image on the internet? Are you looking for ways to leverage internet technology to streamline your business? An upgraded website or web application is the way to go. Vast Virtual Solutions is a technology company that specializes in developing websites that operate on the cutting edge with the ability to save you and your business time and money. Visit vastvirtual.com for a business quote today. vastvirtual.com.
Have you heard about AMAC? AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. They're the leading conservative organization in the nation for folks 50 and up. AMAC is a patriotic membership organization dedicated to defending the values that have made America great. Things like smaller government, fiscal responsibility, individual freedom, and family values. But that's not all. An AMAC membership gives you access to exceptional benefits like Medicare supplements and Advantage plans, special low rates on car insurance, roadside assistance, and discounts on hotels, car rentals, and major theme parks, and much more. AMAC reveres the Constitution, and unlike other senior organizations, AMAC lobbied Congress against Obamacare, not for it. People, take it from me and stand with well over 1 million other patriots by joining AMAC today. It's easy. Just visit AMAC's website at www.amac.us. That's www.amac.us. www.amac.us. Join AMAC today and tell them Michael Savage sent you.
Welcome back to the program. Trey Roberts, and we are broadcasting live from the studios of WGSO 990 AM here in New Orleans. And have you had a chance to take your family yet over there to Harahan to Augie's?
I have been waiting with bated breath to get over there. I remember when you brought it to my attention. We're big foodies, and eating out is probably our number one form of entertainment. So
and you guys bring a crew. I mean, you're I would say medium to large family, lots of hunger.
I have been trying to superimpose some other world views over the amount of children that I have. So.
That's right. Yeah, that is dinner at the Wypyszinski house right there.
The youngest one that's making that much noise.
That would be Bat Joe.
Right. Joe X. Any means necessary.
Right. I mean, and Joe's at a place where he realized this is survival of the fittest. I mean, he's got to get in where he can fit in. Otherwise,
right now he's at scavenger stage. Though.
I watched Joe one time at a homeschool event at our church, and Joe just kind of, we had those big round tables.
Yeah.
And Joe was still short enough that his head wasn't quite to where he could see on the table.
That's right.
So he was just walking by the table with his hand dragging on the table. And like when his hand hit something, he stopped and he kind of felt it. He pulled it down and looked at it. It was like, I can't eat that. He put it back.
Yeah, we've had entire.
Stephanie and I watched it. We were like, I said, Stephanie, watch this. This is how Joe survives. It was like a wildlife. It was like the Joe Wypyszinski, as he goes through the tables, uses his arm to find the food. Look how he finds something that he knows is not edible. He puts it back. I was like, that is a kid who understands how to survive in a big family.
He's at scavenger stage.
He's a great kid.
Right.
So it looks like now that we've got Reverend Roger Grise. He's the former auxiliary bishop from the Diocese of Cleveland, who is on, I think bingo has officially started.
Hey.
I think they've, he said B9.
I'm actually glad that you brought this up. Did you happen to see the closing prayers last night?
I didn't know that they were offering any sorts of closing prayers.
Yes, they're offering closing prayers at the end of each night. To my understanding, it is some form of a Christian prayer. I don't think they've gone to other religions at this point. But the gentleman looked like a Turkish, Coptic, Orthodox, Catholic, some kind of Byzantine. It was it's unbelievable.
It was like he was a remnant of the East-West schism of the church.
That's what it reminded me of.
So, so you vividly remember how he looked. There was this prayer.
Well, I just I think
the salt.
These conventions are obviously everything's political, everything's planned. A lot of it is theater, and I just couldn't understand what the reasoning was. You've got plenty of options when it comes to closing prayers, and I just thought it was. I'm not saying that this individual was anything wrong with him. I just thought it was an odd choice. I just thought it was an odd choice. Because I don't see that demographic very well represented in our culture.
Yeah, I don't know.
To the Jews.
I don't know what percentage of the electorate would be like Russian Orthodox, that would need the patriarch to show up and offer a blessing, to the church. Let's see if anything interesting is trending right now on Twitter. Any clever hashtags here? We've got Trump is with you, but that was promoted by Donald Trump. Ivanka is trending. That's not surprising. Let's see here. Wow, nothing. That's not really a good. It's not really a good sign. You don't really have anything that was said tonight. This was a pretty big speech, and you would expect that something would be popping up by now, looking to have some kind of trending option to it. Looking at it on Facebook. Let's see if anything's trending there as well. Of course, in the political tab, you've got the Young Turks. Do you ever catch any of their stuff on the internet?
No.
Okay, the Young Turks with Sync.
I know who they are. I don't pay attention to
Apparently, the Young Turks got into it with Alex Jones. That might be something I'd be interested to actually see. InfoWars go into the against the Young Turks. It sounds like a grudge match. Is that the guy? That really does look like the patriarch, Archbishop Demetrios.
Greek Orthodox.
Greek Orthodox. Looks like the hashtag on Facebook, Trump yourself, is trending. I'm not sure
that's
the meaning of that.
No. It's something that Hillary Clinton campaign has put out. It's I at first was looking forward to it because I thought to myself, this is some sort of app where I can put my face into Trump's hair.
And is it
which is what I'm seeking? No, but what it's actually doing is it superimposes his most incendiary comments
over a picture
of yourself at some type of event.
That's horrible. I was a little disappointed that Uncle Phil Robertson, who had been a big Willie's been on the Trump train for a long time now, but Uncle Phil, he was a Cruz guy, and
but he's also a football guy too.
That is true.
He looks at this as a winner-loser type thing.
Looks like Laura Ingraham is being blamed for giving a Nazi salute.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Well, yeah, it's amazing what you can do when you
freeze the frame.
Right,
and she was talking about how high your taxes are going up.
I would venture to say that all of us at some point in our lives have given the Nazi salute, if we want to say that.
Or eating a corn dog at a state fair.
Right.
By the way, this is just a little PSA from the Battlefield Live. If you're ever planning to do anything in the public eye, just say no to hot dogs, corn dogs, any sort of popsicle,
egg rolls. I remember a particular occasion when you ate a hollow egg roll.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think we had we were doing some type of media.
Oh no!
Yeah.
You got me an old banana. Oh, what? I don't even think that
I'm
was
sure
an
it was a hollow egg roll.
I was like, man, I'm hungry. Pick me.
It's a hollow.
I was sitting literally in the way back of a car at like 370. So
no vents.
You had to pop open
AC.
the back of the car so I could fall out the back.
Well, we fed you through the hatchback.
No, it was the side windows.
Okay.
And I was like, just pick me up something in there. And like you brought out, I don't know, I think it was just like tree bark or something. There was like a piece of bark laying around. Let's see here. Anything else? Politics. Sheldon Adelson refuses to meet with Ted Cruz. I don't know why a billionaire donor would need to meet with Ted Cruz after his failure to endorse. Maybe there is some truth that 2020 is going to make another run. Tony Schwartz, Donald Trump, his lawyer sent Tony Schwartz, the ghostwriter, or actually a co-writer of The Art of the Deal, a cease and desist letter because he's been out there saying he knows the real Donald Trump. Claims he's got the attention span of a gnat. Wrote Donald Trump's book. Regrets that he took the $250,000 advance.
He followed Donald Trump around for 18 months, so I'm sure he learned a few things, but I
would think he learned a lot. Let's see here. Anything else? Charles Krauthammer. I can't believe they still roll that guy out. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Tomorrow on the program, I think Chris will probably join us, but we will definitely be joined by Patrick Hampton and, of course, your calls and other hot topics. Last day of the convention, and then next week ought to be a hoot with the Democratic National Convention. Let's just hope that it remains safe. So, for Chris Pillier, I'm Trey Roberts. Pete Wypyszinski, this has been a Battlefield Live. on WGSO 990 AM. We'll see you tomorrow.